Hello, my name is Gary Barnett, and today I will be telling you how PC gaming, or in other words, computer gaming, is far superior to playing games than on console. Let me ask you a question. Do you have to pay monthly to pay online with your friends? Or how about another question? Is that money you pay monthly worth the quality and performance on top of the money it costs you to purchase the games? Well, I didn't think so. You see, people who play on the PC get to play online for free. And that's definitely a benefit. It saves you some cash. Also, if you're new to the PC Master Race, you can even use your Xbox or PlayStation controller to play your games. Yeah, that's a benefit, especially if you're not used to playing with a mouse and keyboard. It's a nice way to kind of lean you in towards switching platforms. One of the many benefits of playing on the computer is that you'll save a lot of money over time. There are a lot of sales that are on the computer of games that are, very often not on sale on the consoles, as well as there's no monthly charge just to play online with your friends. I know on the Xbox Marketplace, they very rarely have sales. Usually it's only around the holidays is when they'll have some form of sale. And typically the markdown is not that great. It's typically only about 10%. There is a marketplace on the computer called Steam. Now, Steam hosts hundreds upon thousands of games that you can download online without having to go to the store. You just put in your credit card and you're good to go, and you can download it right then and there. But the good thing about Steam is they do have lots and lots of sales. Now, sales as in not only 10%, but more like 30 to 90% sales as far as markdown goes. So say you have a game that's normally $20. It's on sale for about 50% off. You get it for $10. Now that does save you a ton of money, especially if you're trying to play newer games that usually cost about $65. You can tend to get them for about 40, maybe even lower, depending on how the sale's going. So yeah, that just generally saves you a ton of money. Also, another thing to think about is the computer games have one of the biggest player bases in the world. In fact, the most played online game is only for the computer, and it's free to play. You don't have to pay any money to buy the game. You don't have to pay monthly to play the game. You can just play all you want for free. Many people believe that the computer, or a computer in general, or PC, does not have many games on it. Now, that's a flat out lie, because the computer has basically all the games the console has, except hundreds upon hundreds of more. In fact, there are many more exclusives that the computer has that the consoles will never dream of having, unfortunately. Now, this is all good and dandy, but the thing is, it's not going to be cheap up front. But in a good sense, it's better that it's not cheaper up front because, well, you buy a system for gaming, specifically for gaming. You buy it for about $700, and you can go to the sky's limit on that. But, the more money you put into your system, the longer it's going to last. You buy a console one year, the next year a new one's out, you want it. It's $400 that year, $400 again, maybe more, depending on what markets are like. But yeah, if you put about $700 to $900 down towards a system, you'll be rewarded with how long it lasts. You'll usually get about 5 years, maybe longer, depending on how stubborn you are and relative on if you want to upgrade or not, if your games require it. Most games don't, but if you do, then you can. And say even if you do spend a little, you get a $500 system or cheaper, you always have the option to add on. Except instead of being a console, if you have a console, you can't add on anything. You have the Xbox, and that's it. And that sucks because a lot of people would like to get better performance out of their system or more storage, for example. I know there was a problem with the Xbox having only 500 gigs at the time, and that was a big controversy because 500 gigs is not a lot for games. A game tends to usually take up about 40 to 50, even more, depending on the game, gigs of space. So you can only have about 4 or 5 games on your Xbox before you have to uninstall one and then put one back. And same thing with the PlayStation as well. They did later on come out with newer models that had larger storage, but it should have been initially done anyway, or there should have been an easy way to access the storage and add more, which they didn't do. So that's a benefit to having a computer. You can always add things later on easily. It's pretty much plug and play. Not a real hassle to do. Also, instead of spending your money on consoles each year, you can save that money up and get something that will last you a long, long time. There's nothing better than having more money in your pocket, especially after spending $400 each year on the new console like Xbox or PlayStation just to play the latest games. It's not good. You can't expect somebody to pay $400 each year just to play games, and then on top of the games being like $65. Over time, with a computer, you'll accumulate more money saved in your pocket. It's just a known fact, especially with how long computers generally last compared to a console, as well as compatibility between games and older computers, as well as the sheer amount of sales on games. You're just going to have a ton of money left over in your pocket over time. It's going to hurt at first, but it's well worth it in the down run. And plus, the thing is, if you have the knowledge, or if you have just the idea of what you want your system to look like, you can build it yourself, or you can have somebody build it for you. Tell them what you want. This is what you want to do. I want this lighting, whatever. You can make it your own rig, and you can make it basically be what you want. It just takes a creative mind to say, hey, I want my computer to look like a red fireball or something like that. Whatever. I make custom computers all the time for people. They want themed computers. They want something that looks like the Batman, or they want something that looks like the Joker. Anything. Whatever your mind's to. Imagine what you could do with a system that's almost 100 times more powerful than your little dinky Xbox. You could put the world on your shoulders with that thing. You'll be able to play games at ultra graphics, as well as over 30 frames per second, because the consoles are limited to only 30 frames a second. Now, frames per second means basically how many pictures a second are going through the screen, basically. So with consoles, you're only locked at 30 frames per second. So usually you'll notice some choppiness within a game because it's only limited to 30 frames per second. Now, with a computer, the sky's the limit. You can have some games, you can get up to over 500 frames per second, and even more than that. Just really depends on what you have in your system, as well as what game you're playing. Newer games, now for like a $900 computer, you can get above 60 frames per second easily. Now I'm going to show you my system here. I just recently built this, and this is just some of the work that you can do with your own system. You can make it all colorful, bright lights, stuff like that. And you can make it what you want, custom hardware and everything like that. Plus, another thing to think about is the next generation of consoles are on the way. They announced Xbox Scorpio, which is going to be the new Xbox. I don't believe they announced the PlayStation yet, but you can bet there's going to be another one. They did mention pricing to be about $500 to $600. Now, this is because of one or two things. Because they are going to make the consoles a little bit more powerful. But another thing to think about is there's going to be zero backwards compatibility, as well as you're going to be limited to what hardware you have in that system, no matter what. And with a computer, you can always just swap out stuff, rearrange, whatever you want to do. So what I'd recommend is you save up your money. Don't buy another gaming console if you already have one. Or if you don't have anything to play on right now, just continue saving money. Build yourself a computer, or save a little bit of money and have somebody else build it for you. Or like a pre-made, like HP or Dell, Asus, all those companies. You can save a little bit of money by doing that, but you do risk your warranties. Because if you build your own, you get all the manufacturer warranties on each individual part. But if you just go with like an HP or a Dell, then you get a flat out 1-year warranty. And that kind of discerns some people, just because you don't have full warranty on all your parts, but the 1-year warranty through Dell or HP, yada yada yada. Plus, if you build your own, you do get the warranties, like I said, through the manufacturer. As well as it's just rewarding in general. You get to learn how to build your own computer, possibly even learn in the process how to troubleshoot why things aren't working in case you had messed up during the building process. As well as you can definitely achieve over 60 frames a second. Now this is important for gamers because choppiness is the devil. There's nothing worse than having lag on a video game. As well as you get to max the visuals on games, that look absolutely amazing. So go ahead and go out there and dominate the game. Have fun at it at the same time. Thank you.